relationship with your money is really important. My book, Whippin' That Ass, will definitely help you. Yes, because I am in the ring whipping that ass. And I don't just say whipping that ass to say it. I really whip that ass. So I am talking about in my next chapter, which is my third chapter, my breaking point. And as I describe, I'm teaching you me in the beginning of the books. In the beginning of the chapters, you are learning about me. You're learning about everything that I went through before I dig into actually teaching the actual steps. I want you to have a relationship with the author. And I want you to be able to understand her and everything that she went through from where she was into where she is now, today. Just reading this book, this chapter again, because I have other things in my life, and reading it, it sparks up my memory because listen, I wrote this book back in 2017, 2018, and it's 2022. And this book would have been out if it wasn't for the pandemic. I had, my mom, she was in Virginia. I moved her to Jersey, now Florida. 100%, I am a caregiver, as well as a business owner, as well as a financial person. And it's not the easiest thing. In chapter 3, it starts off by saying I was a single mom of 3 children with a master's degree, working as a therapist, a supervisor at an outpatient mental health agency. Yet I was still struggling to keep up with the gas and electric bill and put food on the table. That's real talk. I would constantly find myself asking my nieces if they could spare their EBT card, the electronic benefit transfer. Yes, EBT. For all y'all know, EBT. Yes, food stamps. Whatever, however you want to say it, that's what it was, okay? So I can get food at the beginning of the month. So everyone who understands the struggle will understand this calculation. $150 for 300. $150 for 300. You know what that mean, right? You know what that mean. $150 for 300. So I'll give you $150 cash if I can use $300 of your EBT card. Come on, y'all. That's what my spreadsheet about. It's for people that have EBT cards too. People that is on welfare. Let's get it straight. I wanted to be real as I possibly could be with where I've been and actually where I am today. And speaking of welfare, I remember when I applied, my mom worked for child support. My mom was like, you never gonna come down here. You never, like, I better never see you. And when I went to go apply for welfare, the lady said to me, you don't qualify. She said, but you don't need it. She said, you just don't. You have too much in you. You'll never get on it. And honestly, let me tell y'all, I'm just going to touch on this. This is not in the book, but this is in me. So it's an imaginary book, maybe the next book. What's in you is what's in you. And a lot of times when we go to those means and getting on welfare and getting that assistant and that government assistant, it's really the mindset of where we live in our communities, in our environments. And that wasn't me. And she was 100% right. But where I was in my environment and asking for help, that's what was going on at the time. But it wasn't me. That wasn't the me. And I'm telling you, that's not the you. So it's just making me think in this book. And I said, that was a very difficult time in my life. Although I am in a different place now, I would still use that bad boy if my nieces needed extra money. Yes, sir. Sure would. I still got 2 EBT cards in my room. I got my EBT cards. Just in case they want to put some money on it for school, free school lunch, I'm going to use it. There is no shame. And it doesn't matter how much money you have. You are who you are. I am who I am. But that was my breaking point. So I also want to touch on a part of the book where I said, this was my monthly struggle each year until tax return time. And I know you can see yourself in this. I said, you see, in my culture, the income tax check is like the second coming of Christmas. January 2nd rolls around and you're already planning to go on vacation, buy furniture, buy clothes, make a down payment for a car, and all other non-essential spending you can do with a surplus of income. Year after year, I found myself using my precious tax return check to dig myself further into debt. And let me tell you, that's what you do. So when you get your tax return, you take it, you say, all right, I have my tax return check. We don't budget and we don't plan that. What we do is we go and we utilize it and we spend and we get ourselves back into a hole, because your tax return is something that you should be using to help you with that down payment for your house. So you don't have PMI. So maybe PMI is private mortgage insurance. So maybe if you save your tax return, let's say your tax return $8,000, maybe if you save that $8,000 for 4 to 5 years, you won't have private mortgage insurance. But instead, our culture, society, TV, social media, and you yourself want more. You see the lavish lifestyle and you want more. So then you are on this roller coaster, because now you getting ready to go to Dubai, which you can't afford Dubai. Yes, I am preaching. Can't afford it. Stay home. And now you going to Dubai, and you in Dubai, you done charged it. Now the credit card that you paid off, you done charged it, and you back on this cycle. And that's the problem. And that's where I was. And that was a problem. And I took that same mentality into my business. And that's a problem. So for all of you that are trying to start a business and want to start a business, if you don't change that, it's not really a business, it's a hobby. And I think that's why I said I'll give it all up, because I'm not in here to do a hobby. I need to see these digits. I need to see this money. I need to see the net profit after everything is paid, after my payroll is paid, after all the expenses and everything that come out, everything, the rent for the building, everything is paid. What is my bottom line? If my bottom line is $1,000, we have a problem. It's a hobby. If my bottom line is $5,000, we still have a problem. It's a hobby, because I knew where I wanted to be, and I knew that I had to get there by changing the way I thought. And I don't play games when it comes to money. I don't play games when it comes to my families that we serve. I do not. I would tear something up, because I don't like disrespect, and I don't play games when it comes to my families. I don't play games when it comes to my kids in my schools, and I don't play games when it comes to my personal children or money. So I had to really think about it, even reading this, and what was my breaking point. And in the book, one day I said to myself, I can't do this anymore. The cycle of paying, charging, creating debt in both my personal business endeavors. And that's what you're doing. And that's what we do. We go ahead and we look at this income tax check as a free all. And it's not. It was a cycle. Because for 8 years of my marriage with my husband, we found ourselves back in credit card debt doing the same stupid damn thing. And that's what we do. We do the same thing. And I'm here to tell you, don't do the same thing, because it's going to lead you in the same way. And here I am in the back, and I have at the time, I have over 20 employees. I had 2 businesses relying on me. And I just had a lot of weight on my shoulders to run a business and make sure that I could afford payroll, because payroll is real. And guess what? Everybody got to get paid before the boss, right? Because they got to feed their families. I got to figure out how my family going to eat. And that's one thing my kids don't understand. I got to figure that out. But my staff going to eat first, because I put myself in this. And when you have a for-profit and a nonprofit, honestly, if it wasn't for the for-profit, the nonprofit wouldn't have been able to survive. That's why in that dream, God gave me 2 babies. And they represented the ministry, which is the businesses. Because I needed 2, because if you would have showed me 1, it wouldn't have been able to survive. Because when you do it a nonprofit, it takes time to get paid. And when you don't get paid for a month or 2 months, guess what? Your staff, they have families, they still have to eat. They still have to pay their bills. And that is real, I'm telling you. So if God didn't show me this dream, it wouldn't have been able to last, because the for-profit really funded. A Second Touch really was able to fund Joy temporarily and be able to be that safe space, to be able to have that money as a loan to help it out. Because Joy is needed. in these schools and in the community. It is really needed. So my finances was just all over the place. I was just, oh my gosh, I was all over the place. I was scattered as I don't know what. And that's what broke me. That's why I said, my emotions, I was crying. I remember one time I went off in the house over clothes and I left. And Tony was like, I think you need a break. And I was like, I think I do. I'm glad we agree. And I left for like 5 days. And because I couldn't think, I had so much work to do. And it was email. When I look at it now, it was emails. And no, it was more than emails, because it was my invoices. It was more. But I couldn't get my mind right, because it was like I was changing, but nobody in my household was changing. I still had to cook. I still had to clean. And then I'm running these businesses. And here I am at the school till 7, 8 o'clock. Oh my gosh, I would come home at 7 o'clock because it's an after school program. I would get home at 7 o'clock at night, no food cooked, everybody waiting on me. Then I would have to cook dinner. I said, no, y'all not going to treat me like I'm boo-boo the goddamn fool, because that's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Y'all nigglets ain't going to eat a damn thing. And I went off. And it was just a lot. And I had to really put a lot of things in perspective. I had to put me first, and I'm still learning to put me first. And actually, in this age and stage in my life, I'm putting me first. I am truly putting me first, because I'm going through a whole lot and I'm putting me first. But at this time, in reading this book, I'm like, damn, that is real. This is some real stuff. And I don't want to unfold, but I need to get it together. And I need to be able to figure out what's breaking me and not let it break me no more. And that's where this book really came alive, in this chapter. And I said, my truth is your truth. Maybe not in this form, but I know you can relate to my story. I know you can relate to my pain and my passion. And that's where I am. All my chapters have money tips. In this particular chapter, my money tip is, let your breaking point be your starting point. Create detailed financial goals and execute them with attainable outcomes. If your mental state is not in order and your mind is cluttered, you will not have your finances in order. And in another chapter, I show you how to create those goals, because you hear goals all the time. But honestly, goals is what really got me to be able to come to a place to where God intended me to be. I needed goals. I needed structure. I needed something. And you too need something. As I read this chapter, I'm like, wow. This is the main reason for our existence. I know my why. My why is to help you get out of debt. Formulate a weekly or bi-weekly or monthly budget. Pull that business out of you. Help you build your faith and set attainable and measurable goals. And that's why I'm here. And this is my 3rd chapter, my breaking point. Whipping that's ass.